Hello, welcome back to Oakenverse. So this is a video I shot in May where I wanted to show the spring flowers because I was noticing them everywhere. So this is just a nice little walk that's not far from where I live. You see there that we've got white hawthorn flowers, but I've also encountered those red ones that you just saw on the left there, and then kind of pink, red and sort of white ones that we just saw on the right. So it's obvious at some point there's been some sort of hybridization between the colours. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that I found the pink and white ones as well as the red and white ones as well. So, but yeah, spring I really noticed this time of year. It's the first year I think properly in my life that I've really enjoyed and appreciated it, because I've been getting into trees and looking at plants and yeah, just looking at the external world. It takes the focus away from the internal because you're constantly looking up, and we've got silver birch coming up there. You see those catkins that are dangling down. Yeah, you're just focusing on the external world rather than the internal, and it just it can be good for your mental health because you're constantly looking around at the world around you rather than focusing on what's inside. Sycamore, which, you know, for some people like me that can worry quite a lot, it's quite useful because you're not as focused on the worrying part. Some elder there. Got some pictures of some elderflower to show you later. A little seed on that on there. It was a really, really humid day. I've got some footage of Ecclesall Woods as well that I wanted to compare with the winter footage. As it really felt almost like a rainforest inside. The air was thick and there was like a kind of steam coming up from the ground. It was really nice. It almost felt like I could have been in the United States or something. It's actually quite a steep little hill. I tried running up there once, and yeah, I think I'd already been running about twice that week, and it didn't really. My legs just sort of gave out. They couldn't really do it. But yeah, just how green this all is compared to how it was in winter is just looks really nice. Slowly getting used to using the new camera as well. See how the sycamore bark is quite scaly. Now this is around a sort of patch of allotments, but there seem to be a few that have fallen into ruin around the outskirts. You'll see in a minute as we come up to the top here. And I'll be putting this video out in June. It's a little bit late after spring, but you know, it matters not. I'm hoping after like a good year of this channel, people will be able to spot and notice trees. We've got oak here. That's a very distinctive bark. Now I couldn't tell if these were pendicular oak or sessile, or just because we haven't got the acorns growing yet. That's the big indicator, because to be honest, a lot of the leaves look the same. So unless you're getting into turkey oak or home oak, then that's quite a difference. But yeah, at the moment, for me, without being able to see the acorns and whether they're on a stalk or not, I can't fully distinguish. But apparently these different types of oak hybridize regularly anyway, so... Yeah, so just on the left here is the sort of outskirts of those allotments. It seems like there's a few sort of ruined buildings, but there goes another oak. Yeah, I'm impressed with the quality of the footage. It has to be in broad daylight. I noticed when I filmed sort of closer to dusk, it was still light enough, but the sort of video footage was quite shocking. Yeah, see these huge sycamore leaves there, as bigger than the palm of my hand. And I've got quite big hands. Hawthorn on the left, what we've got there, yeah, more hawthorn. This particular walk, there weren't that many flowers to show, but I've taken some pictures out and about them around Sheffield that I'll show you at the end of the video. Got a big drop down there, which leads to, yeah, kind of guess it's a retail park. But what I like about Sheffield is there are so many walks like this, which are really close to, you know, the areas of habitation. It doesn't take long. It can take, what, 10-15 minutes for me to be somewhere like this. And when I lived in Manchester, there were green spaces, but it wasn't quite the same as I'm finding in Sheffield. We've got Chorlton Water Park, and yeah, there are quite a few places still in Manchester. Just they weren't close to where I was living at the time. What I like about where I am now is there's a lot of really close by little spots of nature. I actually startled a fox along here once. I was just walking up the opposite direction to how I'm showing you, and it just ran across in front of me. It's funny, I've seen so many foxes since living in cities. I barely saw any when I used to live in the countryside. Decided to reinstate my old gaming videos as well. I was just watching a few the other night and I thought, yeah, they aren't that good, but I really enjoyed making them, and it was my first foray into making videos, which I think was a very important step for me to have the confidence to do that, even if they weren't like great videos. It was the act of doing them which was a big step forward for me. Right, I know there's a tree down here which I initially thought was beech, but the underside of the leaves looked... It didn't look how beech would normally look. I think it's just coming up in a minute. Come down here, and I think we've got... Ah, this is the one. I wonder if you can tell me what it is. I've put beech, but if you look at the underside in a minute, you see? It's just... I don't think that is beech. Got rowan here. I remember in the early days I used to confuse rowan and ash quite a lot, but the leaves are very different. Similar sort of layout, as in you're having like one leaf on the tip and then a series of leaves opposite going down, but once you look closer at the leaves, they are very different. I noticed an awful lot of ash saplings this year. I mean, they've always been there, but as I said previously, this is the first year that I've noticed everything so much. A lot of holly. And this is another lovely little walk down by the railway. These bluebells have mostly gone now. They weren't out for very long, but, well, just look at that, with the blue and the different colours of green. The canopy. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Really good for a bit of forest bathing. Look it up if you've not heard of it. It's just very good for one's mental health. Not looking at a screen, looking at a phone, or like, you know, checking emails, or just yourself walking through nature basically, and, you know, looking at the birds, listening to the bird song, trying to identify different trees. Like I personally anyway find it very good for one's mental health. I'm pleased with that stabilization technology anyway. You do still have to walk relatively carefully, but you can see there I'm walking quite fast. I'm not having to go incredibly slowly. And a really good microphone on this camera too. But this time I wanted to film the footage first and then... Hang on, the train coming past. Oh, that has caught that quite well. I want to go back and record the voice over it, basically. Any other videos to plan to do? Well, I think we've all had enough of North Lees and Sandwich Edge. I've sort of done probably about 6 videos at that location now. It is a lovely location, it's easy for me to get to, that's why I go there so much. But I think I'm going to have to start coming up with ideas of some newer places to have a poke around. Because there's still, you know, the whole entirety of the Peak District, which for me is largely unexplored. Hazel there. I've been to Edale and, you know, I've done Mantor and Kinder Scout, but have yet to film those. I think as well it reminds you of sort of life cycles in general. You have the bleak, barren winter, and you know, everything's perished from the previous year, all the leaves have fallen off, you know, everything's gone into its energy conservation mode, and it's all can seem quite bleak. And then, you know, the next spring again you have all this new growth and everything comes back. A more hawthorn there. There's oak on our right. And a beech there. Yeah, I'm not convinced that one previously was beech, actually. It's very distinctive, isn't it? It's quite glossy. And the underside was a completely different colour. There is actually something I find quite relaxing about the drone of vehicles in the background combined with bird song. I'm not quite sure why. Okay. Should be coming up to a little bridge at some point. Yeah, this year's gone by quite quickly. As soon as I was filming this spring video, suddenly it became summer and an oak sapling there. I remember being a kid where seasons would seem to take so long. I remember summer holidays would seem like months and months, even though looking back it was only 6 weeks. You know, winter used to seem to last forever, like really dark nights and cold and just a bit grim, you know, when you wake up in the dark and you go to bed in the dark. But now I'm a bit older, I actually enjoy the fact that the seasons seem to go by quicker because it's never long to wait until change. It doesn't seem that long ago it was going dark by, you know, 4:30, and now it's going dark by about 10:15. Well, we've nearly got the longest day soon. Now this, I potentially thought might have been some sort of rose, but it's not, is it? It's way too tall, but I couldn't identify it anyway. And this is the thing, like, I have been doing this a while now, but there's still going to be plenty of trees I can't identify. They just aren't. Just don't come up. It would be good to get a real tree expert on at some point, just to like perhaps go on a walk and like talk to them, hear their knowledge, and like learn some advice. I mean, that would be really good. Just like go on a short walk and just have a good chat about it all. There's this little bridge. Well, I mean, I say bridge is a bit grandiose a term, isn't it, for a couple of planks, but... Oak on the left, another oak. Now, the video of Ecclesall Woods, I think I've released as a separate video. What I'm trying to do is make some sort of shorter videos, which are a bit more palatable. Ow. That was quite a good sound effect, actually, completely by accident. Kind of sounded like a punch sound effect or something. Yeah, I've got a bit more free time over the summer now, so I'll be starting to think about what other videos I can create. There's a glove. There's always a glove, a disembodied glove. In any case, I'm glad I managed to get some footage of the bluebells before they perished. You can just see the railway tracks to the right there. I'd also like to do where I perhaps find somewhere quiet and film a good 40 minutes of just nature ambience, especially with this good microphone, somewhere out of the wind, and just put up a nature ambience video, really. They're good to fall asleep to, or just to relax to. The one I like to use is rain on a tent with a crackling campfire. That's always a good one. It does send me to sleep pretty quickly. But yeah, I'd recommend just go out and about in nature and, you know, have a look at the trees and the plants and try and identify them. I mean, I've not even touched on other sorts of plants or herbs or fungi or, you know, things that you can forage. So here's some pictures of what we missed. Some alder cones there. And then those are ash keys. Behind that's a sycamore, but there's the ash in front there. Cherry blossom, whether this was bird cherry or wild cherry or plum cherry, I'm not sure. Maple leaves, very out of focus. Rowan flowers, they can often be white or creamy. That's elderflowers, again not in great quality, but you get the idea. Now some pink horse chestnut flowers, they're usually white, but not around here. That's what they usually look like. They kind of tower above, they're quite tall. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again for the next video. Alright, bye.